From the peak of Saddle Butte to the depth of the LaPorte Slough, this is the Trent Klarenbach Podcast. Today I have a special guest today. I feel very fortunate to know this individual. His name is Merv Berscheid. He's a long-time industry participant, working on the grain and marketing side of the industry, sourcing grain, ended up having CGF Brokerage, and you founded My Grain Exchange, which is a new startup of the last couple of years. Merv's been a great supporter of mine from the time I started my newsletters, and I feel very fortunate again to become pals with you, actually, and it's been a great experience. So Merv, thanks for coming on the show.
You're so welcome, Trent.
Yeah, this is great. We've been talking about this for quite some time, and hopefully got some of the production issues figured out for today. We've had a few challenges, but so you started, we had CGF Brokerage for a lot of years. You ran that as a business.
Yeah.
And then that moved into My Grain Exchange.
Morphed into My Grain Exchange,
Yeah.
That's correct.
But you got your start back in the day, was it Allstate Grain?
I was an agent for Allstate Grain Company.
Yeah. And so to the listeners here, the Allstate Grain Company really resonates with myself. It was started by my neighbor, Reinhold Nunweller, and two gentlemen from Eston, Ron Butterly, and Gary Stevenson?
No.
Butterly and Stevenson from Eston.
Right.
So we apologize to the Stevenson family for not remembering that name right now. But yeah, so they were forerunners, one of two principal traders of special crops on the prairies, I understand.
Yeah. Northern Sales was the big one. They started, and they had the terminal in Saskatoon from the Grain Commission. That was a government elevator.
Yeah.
And Allstate bought the boys. They bought the one in Moose Jaw.
Right. Yeah, so those terminals were, those concrete terminals in Saskatoon, it's the one on 11th Street. Viterra owns it now. It was the AgPro for a lot of years prior to that. Yeah. Yeah, and then Allstate had the one in Moose Jaw.
That's correct.
Yeah. So the interesting story is how you got started with the special crops. Are you comfortable sharing that story with us?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. Anyway, I was an agent for Allstate Grain Company, and they asked me to source. Of course, back in those days, of course, they have the terminal now, canola or whatever. That's the main one was canola, and then one thing led to another. But it was interesting in 1980. That was 84, 85. So in 85. That year was very wet in the fall, like it's wet. And Rick Dobransky phoned me up one day. He says, Merv, what do we have to do to get ready for this harvest? And I kind of thought this, but Rick, I believe this terminal that you got in Moose Jaw has a grain dryer. Yep. Get it ready, because we got a wet one coming here. We're gonna need all the drying facilities we can get, because it's not going to be pretty. And he did that. So it turned out I was correct. It was a wet fall. Like we were taking wheat off at ridiculous moisture levels. It was crazy. And also we're taking off canola or flax, for that matter, 19% moisture. Now back in those days too, that would have been 1985. Grain dryers was a thing, but it wasn't a real big thing yet. And most of the grain dryers that came into Canada were from the U.S., but they were designed for corn. Well, even cereals like wheat, barley, that was fine, but canola or rapeseed back then, the grain dryers had all small holes in them, and it was pretty hard to dry rapeseed with these things here. I sort of got inventive, and I had myself a borage grain dryer that's modeled 350, but it had those big holes in it. So the way the system worked, it almost worked like a sifter. So the small seeds would go through the small holes and drain out on the ground on you. So I got thinking about that. How do I stop that? So I actually lined the dryer with window screen.
Oh, yeah.
And I stitched it onto the sidewalls of the dryer so the rapeseed would not go through the holes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So again, it was a wet fall, very wet. It was miserable. But now with this grain dryer, the situation we had, so it was obviously rapeseed back then. If anything was going to come off first, it would have been rapeseed because that's not swathing it, it's standing, or it could be swath, but it was a loose swath. So obviously we were able to put the rapeseed through our combines before cereals. But again, you have to, canola, it wasn't easy to dry canola because of the screen size. So, Rick listened to me about get that grain dryer ready because we're going to need it. So, turns out that's what happened, and we start taking off this rapeseed, and I'll never forget this. It was in the morning. I got a phone call from a customer of mine. I didn't have a shower then. I was sitting in the bathtub in the morning. The phone rang, and it was customers of mine. Merv, we want to sell some flax and we want to sell some canola, and we got to move it now. So I bought my first through Allstate. I bought the first three loads of flax back in those days in the bathtub in the morning before I got to work.
Did they know you were in the tub? Could they hear
No,
the
they
water?
didn't. No, I
couldn't hear
didn't
the
tell
water?
them either. I didn't tell them either. But anyway, the thing was that you could, the way Allstate had it set up, you could actually, we could book the canola, flax or canola. We could book it, and book it into the terminal in Moose Jaw. They would offer free storage, and free storage for number one. So basically, the market wasn't where they wanted it to be, so that was great. So anyway, that day was, I don't know, I'll never forget that, it was the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. And again, those grain dryers were very, very busy, and so anyway, it turns out that at that time, the Northern Sales elevator in Saskatoon, they got filled up with canola or rapeseed then, or flax, and the next in line was Moose Jaw, and we filled it up too, and was free storage, whatever, and it was, but back in those days too, the wheat board was a factor. You could not. Rapeseed was under the wheat board, and so flax wasn't so much, but rapeseed definitely was. So now, in the meantime, all of a sudden we got most of the rapeseed is harvested now, but it's a high moisture. But the farmers aren't going to store this at 18% moisture. We're going to get it dried. So we picked it up from the farm and we delivered it to Moose Jaw. Free storage, free shipping, whatever. You didn't have to pay for anything until you sold it. But in the meantime, the weather changed, and now we're able to harvest our cereals. But so now that they can dry the cereals, those dryers work really good for cereals. Again, I remember that first Monday when after Thanksgiving, we booked 125 semi-loads of rapeseed from Tisdale area into Moose Jaw in one day.
Wow.
Incredible. It was just like a tsunami. But with that, the permit books, the farmers would provide the permit books to the truck drivers who brought it to the terminal. So the permit books had to be filled out. So 125 semi-loads in one day. All these permit books were going with these trucks. And now, okay, so now that stuff was delivered, but that kind of tsunami, I mean, the people at Allstate, they couldn't keep up with filling out the permit books and keeping up with all this stuff. Now, in the meantime, all of a sudden now the farmers are into the cereals, and they want to haul they dried their cereals, and they want to haul it into the elevators as well. But they need their permit books.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so one day I said to my partner, I said, the farmers need these permit books, but they want to deliver their cereals. But they don't have them because they're in Moose Jaw. So I left work in Tisdale and went clean to Moose Jaw, and I came back with 75 permit books.
Wow.
And brought it back to the office, and we tried to fill them as good as we could, so that the farmers, they came up and picked up their permit books so they could start hauling their wheat. So that's how restrictive it was back in those days. No permit book, you're not delivering. Period.
Delivering, and it regulated how much you could deliver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that quota system is probably, who knows what the quota would have been, 3 bushels maybe or something.
It was,
right?
yeah, it was not good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, okay, is that when you started with that office in the mall?
Oh, yeah. I started I mentioned Kelsey Trail Trucking. They had an office downtown Tisdale, and I was in there. But at the same time, Tisdale was building a new mall, like an indoor mall.
Yeah.
And the 2 anchors for the mall was OK Economy and Zellert. And the way the contract read, the mall had to be 75% occupied before the anchors would kick in their fees for
I see.
anchors. So, of course, I was making a little bit of a name for myself there with Allstate, and a fella came to me with, "Hey, Merv, why don't you, help us out here, put an office in the mall?" Huh? Put an office in the mall? Well, sounds okay. Price is right. But I was short on funds again. Like it was always a problem, short on funds. Anyway, okay. So we went ahead and I did the build out, and oh my gosh, now I used my credit card to get started, and I was maxed out. So that was the start. We started moving stuff, and that was my start to get office in the mall. First one that I think it was the first one that I know of. I had a grain office in the mall.
Yeah, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely. So how many years were you with Allstate then? Or how long did you stay with Allstate to the end then? Or
no, I left Allstate. I sold out my office to another company it was Captel Grain Company. They bought my filing cabinet.
Captel? Really?
Yeah. Captel was, the owner of Captel Grain was 3 plants in the Tisdale, Zenner Park area, Arborfield.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, and as a result of that buyout, I ended up working for them.
Oh, I see, okay. Okay, so you went there, and then where did Continental Grain fit into that?
Well,
Was that before Allstate?
no, that was after.
After, yeah.
Yeah. So it was through I guess my contacts. One of the guys that worked for Continental Grain Company caught wind about what I was doing in Tisdale. And of course, he's moving 125 semi-loads in one day. There's some noise made.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I got a call from. Actually, I attended a Christmas party in Winnipeg. I should back up. Allstate Grain Company sold out to Elders Grain.
Right. Yeah.
And Elders is owned by Barley, Foster's Beer.
In Australia, yeah. Australian company,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the year that would have been, 86, 87, 88, somewhere in there.
85, 86.
86,
yes,
yeah.
Yeah. So I attended a Christmas party put on by CP Rail before Christmas,
Oh, yeah.
and Continental Grain happened to be there. And they kind of caught wind about me maybe looking for work or whatever, but so that was before Christmas, and I actually, before I went back to Tisdale, when I was in Winnipeg, I had an interview with Continental Grain Company to actually start for Continental Grain Company in Saskatoon, and I was hired.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So my main role then was to source rapeseed.
At rapeseed, okay. Okay. I'm trying to think, you did some mustard with them though too, right?
Yes. Okay, so now...
is that Demeter Ag? Or is that?
No, it was all Continental Grain. We had a mustard division as well.
Okay.
So, because of my connections with Capital Grain, I was actually involved with special crops as well with Capital Grain, because we're actually contracting all kinds of stuff, lentils, whatever.
Just keep talking.
Okay, and so anyway, one of the vice president of Continental Grain Canada interviewed me, and they hired me, and then I just started working in the office in Saskatoon, and then I got a call one day from Continental Grain, said, Merv, would you be interested in going to Milk River, Alberta, to help us contract mustard and special crops? The way they put it to me, either take the job or take a hike. Well, I wasn't too interested in taking a hike, so I took the job. So they moved me to Milk River, Alberta.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to the special crop business with Continental Grain.
Yeah, because that's... Why do I want to keep thinking Demeter? Was that?
Demeter was in Southern Alberta.
But it was a different
Warner,
company.
But there was
they were ConAgra, I think, weren't they?
No, it was Demeter Agri. That was it. They were quite a major player with mustard in Warner. That was just out of Milk River.
Okay, yes, because I think I remember doing some dealing with them back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so then, and then when did you break out on your own then with
CGF?
CGF, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I should ask for years because I don't know years myself. I couldn't tell you the year.
Yeah.
I know my birth year. That's about it.
Oh yeah, I can remember now. I was sort of. Anyway, I decided that I know what happened. I had to get back to Saskatoon. I was separated and divorced, and my son was here in Saskatoon, and I had to get back to him. So I quit my job with Continental Grain and I moved back to Saskatoon. And that's when I sort of started, well, I'm going to try and help broker some grain.
Yeah.
Start off on my own.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a stretch, but I got it done.
Yeah, I bet it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of risk being taken there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, so you started Continental, CGF Brokerage and
1997.
Grain Brokerage and Freight, I guess. 1997.
CGF stands for Cash, Grain, and Freight Brokerage.
Cash, Grain, and Freight Brokerage. Okay. And then you had this vision. So I don't know how much we'll get into it today, but Merv's always been, I would say, ahead of the curve with ideas. And we can maybe talk about that a little bit, your farming history there. But at some point, you decided that you wanted to improve the grain discovery.
Yes.
In Canada.
It was always a problem. I felt it was really a problem of how to help buyers, because I was a buyer as well. I mean, we needed help here. Like the buyers needed some help, and so the farmers needed some help on how to find a market for this stuff.
Right.
And I got the idea, like, my goodness, like, I can remember myself and my partner, we would spend, everything was by sample. We would spend hours every day packaging, getting samples in of different lentils and mustard, whatever it was, peas, whatever. And we would spend probably an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, just collecting the samples and separating and sorting them and packaging them up in little packages of 2-pound samples to different buyers that were in the market for lentils or mustard, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We would do that. And so by bus, we would send, or by courier, we'd send them off to different buyers. And it was kind of, it wasn't very efficient. Like, how do you, by the time the buyer had an order for lentils, by the time the sample got there, and he had to go through them and grade them himself and whatever, it was so, in the meantime, somebody might have come in with a package, with a sample of lentils, and well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, we sent the samples there, spent our time at cataloging everything, and
Yeah.
all for naught.
All for naught.
So one day I happened to be in the Grain Commission, in Northern Sales office there, terminal there. The Grain Commission had their office there. And I noticed that the Grain Commission, what they were doing is they were actually taking photos of the lentils, large green lentils, specifically, with the scanner. What are you guys doing here? Well, we're grading the samples, we're grading them here, and then we take a picture of them, well, with a scanner, and we email those pictures to Winnipeg head office, Grain Commission,
Oh, yeah.
and then they put a grade on it based on what the analysis told that they thought out of the picture.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute here. Why can't I do that? Why would I spend all this time sending, time and money sending stuff to the buyer? In the meantime, the buyer was inefficient. The buyer might have had to get his order filled, or maybe he didn't have time to grade it. It was just, this is a gong show.
Yeah.
This has got to change. So I got the idea in 2001. Why the heck don't we just do that? So that's what we started doing, and it worked.
So it's probably one of the first ones to do that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
guessing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you took it to the next, another level.
Well, now the thing is, price discovery. How do you do this? So I started the idea of an auction,
Online auction.
online auction. But I was a little hesitant because I couldn't do that with board grain because everything goes to the wheat board. How do you do this? So special crops would work, but in the meantime, the Western Barley Growers Association was lobbying really hard to get barley out from the wheat board.
Right.
Okay, so barley, feed barley. Hey, this is a chance for me to maybe I can utilize lots of barley to move. Why don't I'll get ready to have an auction with barley. But it was because they were lobbying really hard to get out from the wheat board. And it turns out, and I got pretty proactive on that. I got myself, I sent a couple of staff members to Winnipeg to learn how to grade, to analyze barley for malt. I got a germinator. I sent some of the staff there to Winnipeg. I've got a seed separator, seed sizer. I got all kinds of stuff lined up to where, hey, we're gonna launch this. This is gonna be what I would call CGF E-Trade.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And okay, we're ready to go it was set up for August 1 of 1974, whatever year it was, can't remember now. But anyway.
Be 94.
94, pardon me, yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, 94, that's what it was. And Okay, so we did our pamphlets, we did our everything, all of our sales stuff was set up, and it was going to be going on out from the wheat board effective July 1st. Well, it turns out the very last minute, the judge says no, wheat board, and Barley staying under the wheat board. Oh my gosh. Here's all my efforts of trying to get ready to go for trading,
Yeah.
auction on feed barley, on malt barley too. All for naught. Wow, that kind of set me back, and spent quite a bit of money on that at the time. Got thinking, well, that's not going to work, so let's try it on peas. I'll never forget this. I put up 120 metric ton of number 2 or better, 4% bleach. It was 4% bleach green peas. Talked to the farmer. Let's try this on electronic trading. And the guy wanted it was $7 a bushel. That's what we offered it out at. And ended up the first trade we did, he got $7.50 a bushel for his peas. That was the very first trade.
First trade.
First trade. So I got 50 cents over the market.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
And
fantastic.
it happened quickly.
It happened quickly.
And with relative ease.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, you
But
have
I
some buyer.
did some politicking though with the buyers, like just look at this, so that, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
And I started doing that, and one thing led to another, and in short order, oh my goodness, I did 12,000 tons, like in short order, different stuff, like, oh wow.
Yeah.
But now, oh man, this is catching on pretty quick here, and we got a time out here. This is going way beyond my, like I didn't have enough IT, I didn't have enough personnel, oh my gosh, this is going to turn out to be a wreck. It's going to wreck on me. So I pulled it from the system. I just pulled it off because I was really paranoid about, this is a good concept, but if
you just weren't ready for it.
I wasn't ready for it, and I didn't want to have a wreck. Because if we lost the integrity of this trading platform, how do you get it started up again?
Right.
So I pulled it.
Yeah.
And that was, so then I put it to the side until I found some investment money and found some IT people, and here we are.
Migraine exchange.
Migraine exchange.
Yeah. The platform the user interface looks great.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks user friendly to me, and
Yeah.
so that was probably a 20-year work in progress.
My idea was in 2000, early 2000.
So 25 years, 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah. We did change since then because the auction system necessarily didn't work out well. It worked, but we went to a marketplace, like a farmer's marketplace now, rather than an auction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is far better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the story you shared with me, just with the barley and the wheat board and the barley issue, but you trained people up and you made an investment of time and money, only to have the barley remain under the board control. Mm-hmm. But just like Amazon and Google and everyone who owns a business goes through this, I think, but not everything you do pays dividends for that use case.
That's right.
But what you learned through that exercise can pay dividends in the future. Yeah. So you have to do things.
You have to.
So
I learned one thing too. What does an umbrella and your mind have in common? If it's not open, it doesn't work very well.
That's true. Yeah, you have to keep trying things. I've tried to be an early adopter myself and try to. It's probably easier to wait, but what fun is that? I'd rather be I'd rather be in the trenches.
Well, I mean, it's like I kind of quite frankly, as a rural people, as a rule, there seems to be a divide. Rural people are maybe right wing, maybe more entrepreneurial, and the difference is, as a farmer, you make a living. As a left side, you're earning a living. There's a difference.
Yeah, with that ideology, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Well, entrepreneurship is.
Well, if you got to make a living, necessity creates demand. You got to figure something out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's. I don't know. I think. Well, you and I have had similar histories, I guess, right? Different ventures that we've been a part of, and yeah, it's fun figuring them out, and
yeah, it is.
they don't always work out, but what you take from the previous one, just keep learning, right?
Yeah.
Keep the mind open. So you didn't really elaborate on it, but I remember when I came to I'll call it your lab or your office. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a lab. And you were showing me how you had actually developed a grading system.
Oh yeah.
For these lentils and crops, which I think was really cool. I see these things now popping up around the world. Mm-hmm. But you were doing this how many years ago?
Oh my goodness. I guess it would have been 2004, maybe?
Yeah, so I'll elaborate on this. So I go meet Merv. It was on probably a Friday. I was coming into the Saskatoon. I just started my newsletter, and I had met you at a trade show years ago. We have a mutual friend. Mutual friend of yours is my buddy's mother, I guess, back home.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come for coffee. He said, "Yeah, come by my house." And we went out to your garage, I guess, your workspace there, and you were showing me what you were doing, and I was blown away because I didn't expect this. This maybe is someone in their 20s or 30s might come up with some of this stuff, and since then I see it on the internet. People are trying to, they're using images to actually come up with a grading system on grain. So, and what's consistent, and it's through learned, I guess, there's a process, probably an algorithm for that. So you were showing me this, and I was blown away because I hadn't seen nothing like this before, but maybe walk us through that. You would take the sample, you would scan it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would take a sample. It was really frustrating. It was very subjective. It was really frustrating.
Grain grading.
Grain grading.
Yeah, totally subjective.
Based on color.
And if you had the right name.
Yeah.
Like back when I was growing up, and I've talked about this before, if you had the right name and hauled the right elevator, you got malt barley every single time.
Yeah, relationships, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, necessity creates demand again. You got to have an open mind. So, green lentils. And the Grain Commission provides a chart. You get a picture, of what they call is reasonably good natural color, RGB, or good natural color, or whatever. So, good natural color is grading number 1 or 2, and then there was less. So, I'll never forget this. I had a farmer drop this sample off of large green lentils. It was fairly early harvest. It was pretty good color. So I, with my trained eye, my own training, I'm assuming this is good stuff. This is definitely grading a number 1, or not. There was very little number 1. It was number 2. Number 1, and number 2 color, reasonably good natural color. That was the sort of standard. So I took it, I looked at it, and I marked it down and made it. And I took that same sample. I went into SGS, who is a third-party analysis based on CGC specs in Saskatoon. And they concurred with me. It's grading. I would say it's a reasonably good natural color, number 2. And okay, good. So I had a buyer near Lethbridge, not Lethbridge, near Lloydminster, who was looking for number 2 or better large green littles. And I had a picture of it, and I showed it to him, and there's the analysis. Yeah, he bought it as a number 2. So he picked up a couple loads as a number 2, brings it into his plant, he cleans it up, after cleaning, he sends the sample into the grain commission, or SGS, I guess it was. And yeah, it's number 2, reasonably good natural color, number 2. The guy ships it to his buyer to Vancouver, and before it leaves Vancouver, it's looked at again by SGS. Same company, but different people.
Yeah.
And it comes back, it's not a number 2. Well, what's changed? It's been cleaned. It's like it should even be better. The color's the same. But now it's not a number 2. And when you're shipping this stuff, obviously the buyers, if it's not a number 2, you're going to be downgraded. So this guy's going to take a hit. Well, so that didn't pan out. So, man, like this is crazy. Well, what's changed? So then, in the mornings, I'm I work out every morning. And I was on the treadmill, and I was watching Canada AM, and there was Benjamin Moore had an ad on, and they were showing a picture of a lamp shade, and they put their cursor on the lampshade, and that's how they would develop a color to match the lampshade. They develop a color. Oh, why can't we do something like that?
That's how you came up with that on the treadmill watching Canada.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So, okay. So I get off the treadmill. I go to Ben's War dealer, like Eastside Paint and Wallpaper, and I go there and I said, "How did you guys do that?" Well, that's the programmer does that. They suggested I go to university and see how that's done. So I went to university, and they probably showed me this software you could buy where it actually, it's called a Gaussian blur. So you take a picture of the lintel, and then you blur it out to a solid color. And you hit that, and it would give you how much red, how much green, and how much blue is in that picture. But it's a number. It's not subjective. It's an actual number.
Yeah, it's the number. Yeah, I've worked with this before. It's digital.
It's a number.
Yeah.
Wow. Why? What the heck? This is. So why don't we do this? Why don't we? So I got working on that too, and I actually got it to the point where, anyway, it works. It works.
Yeah, I remember you demonstrating that to me. I was blown away by that. Yeah. I hadn't seen nothing like that. I did not expect it. Again, this was a few years ago, what, 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, more than that.
Well, that you were showing that.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah.
And it wasn't. But I mean, since we've gotten to know each other, you've always been an early adopter and keep your ear to the ground and keep your eyes open, mind open, and everything else.
Yeah.
Canada AM. Yeah, that's something, eh? So I see. There's obviously people still trying to perfect that, and it's a pretty elaborate platform. I don't know what stage it's at in the world, but I know people are trying to do it.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So then, and then my grain exchange. So you recently stepped down as president.
That's correct.
Yeah. Luke Dirksen is the president.
Yes.
Yeah. And so John DePape talked about that your my grain exchange and my conversation with him also. So he really likes the idea of price discovery. Mm-hmm. And I see now you're contributing to the trading floor also. John's the trading floor. Yeah.
Right.
Good. Well, What is something that you believed when you're younger that you do not believe anymore? What is something you don't believe now that you believed when you were younger?
Oh boy, that's a good question. To give you an example, I guess, is that, well, of course, I was a farmer in Tisdale, and the Northeast was always known for, I always thought, because that's where I farmed, that's all I knew, was those usually wetter years, like we're usually higher moisture than you were, say, when at the port. There was always more moisture. And through the years, I realized that probably the best I could probably do for wheat was a number 3. Like I could never get number 1. There's just no way. Because it looks good, but no, it's number 3. So anyway, I was exposed to the grain terminals in Vancouver as a result of me being open-minded again. I let my name stand to be with the Saskatchewan Rapeseed Growers Association. And I didn't realize this, but I left your name stand. Well, it was a railroad job. You're in. I'm in. Now what do I do? So anyway, they see, well, that was part of the protocol. You're on the board now. You got to learn a few things. So they sent you to Winnipeg for a SIGI course, Indian Institute of Grain, whatever.
Yeah,
a SIGI course.
I was there. It's a great. It was a great experience for me too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was. I didn't even know there was doors to open or what was behind the doors. I learned that. That's stuff behind there. And also with that, being with the Rapeseed Growers Association, they put you on a terminal tour in Vancouver. Oh, this is interesting. So we were there, a bunch of us, the board members were there, and we're milling around in this terminal, and they're loading a ship for export. They're loading wheat. And the wheat was coming in, they're loading the ship, and the wheat is coming into the Grain Commission had their office right in the terminal there, and they're getting their sample right there, and the Grain Commission guys were grading this wheat. And I looked at that, and just curiosity sake, I said to the guy, I says, what's that grading? He says, that's number 1 export standard. Huh? Back home, that's a best of number 3. Guess, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Wow. So that was a learning experience.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might have, I don't know if they learned it or not. They wouldn't have been exposed to that, but the idea that these cooperative grain companies, for example, were working for you. And you and I have lots of thoughts on that.
Yes.
And I just finished reading The Culture of Change. No, The Culture of Change? Culture of Control by Ken Matuak. And he highlights a lot of that. And I'm reading, you gave me that book recently. I'm about 2 or 3 chapters into that already. So, I'm trying to think of the name of that book. But it's another great book. But yeah, this is great. We could talk for hours because we've certainly done this before. And well, I'm going to ask you. I've never asked anyone this question before, and you don't have to answer it, and I'll just cut it out if you don't.
Okay.
What is something you believe that you are afraid to tell people? What is something you believe that you're afraid to tell people? You don't have to answer this question.
Nothing.
Nothing? That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Getting back to this why grain exchange, MGX, how I got really into that. As you know, I'm with CGF Brokerage. Everything I trade by sample. I need samples of what I'm not going to trade anything unless I know what I'm trading.
Right.
So I had samples of special crops, lentils, maple peas, all kinds of stuff. And in my office, I could warehouse 4,000 samples of grain.
Jeez.
Saved. What farmers sent me, there they are.
Yeah.
And the one specific year, I mentioned maple peas. Maple peas, there was nothing. Maple peas were dead. There was nothing going on. And I had this sample from a grower of 20,000 bushels of maple peas. And all of a sudden I get a phone call from a buyer. Hey, Merv, the buyer has access to my platform.
Oh, this was back in the CGF days.
Yes.
So you would post the samples
Oh yeah, I posted
behind
samples.
like a member area type thing?
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Okay.
The buyers had access to that. So there was the grain, there was volume, the location, not the location, because there were some reasons I didn't have the location there. And anyway, so all of a sudden these maple peas are a factor. So what? So the buyer asked me, he says, well, are they still there? Well, I had, the samples are there for 5 years. Like, all of a sudden maple peas are an item. What the hell's going on? So I phoned the farmer up and I says, do you still have them? He says, well, I have some left. And I did sell some. And I asked him what he got for them, and he told me. So I went back to the buyer and says, yeah, they're still there yet. There's some there yet. Well, what does he want for them? Well, I know he wants this or more because he sold some. He's got some left yet. And so the buyer came back with a price. It was a better price than he was getting. So I phoned this farmer up and said, well, we're going to make a trade here. And I phoned him up, and he farms with his brother. Well, here we go again. Well, let me talk to my partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gave him a bid, and now he's going to talk. Well, they're going to leverage this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, he didn't phone me back, but he sent me a text. Not dealing the phone, he sent me a text back. He said, Merv, we got a better price than that out here. Oh my gosh. Like, as a broker, I should know these things. I should know what the prices are. I
Yeah.
should. But I don't. I don't know everything. I'd survey the buyers on, what's your rental prices, what's this, what's that. But I wasn't surveying maple peas because it was no call for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, like, my gosh. Well, this is nuts. Again, and of course, I don't have enough manpower, enough people to follow up with all these samples 5 years ago. I'm going to phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Surprised they still have the samples.
yeah, well, I still have them yet. I'm a hoarder. But anyway, well, wait a minute here. Why don't we expose these to the marketplace?
Yeah.
And now you got a marketplace. So that's more or less how that, then I really pushed my grain exchange, MGX, to put them out there. So where is the market?
Yeah. That's the challenge. What is the price of cash grain today?
That's right. It's a challenge.
You phone, depending on the time of day, right? Depending on the location.
Or if this got filled or not, or there's,
Yeah, it could be this price in the morning
Yeah,
at one place, but across the tracks a different number.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, price discovery.
And then, of course, meat samples. Yeah, well, you can see them. I mean, the pictures are very vivid, very clear.
Yeah.
There you go. So now we got MGX. It's a marketplace for farmers.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think people should check it out.
Yeah,
I think it's a great opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
it is. So the buyers are looking for stuff too. So there it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make an offer. You'll put a bid in, counter offer, counter bid. Where you go?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll put a link to that website
Okay.
in the description of the videos and the podcast, and keep looking.
Here's another little tidbit.
Okay.
When we mentioned that Luke Dirksen is our president now, back in the day, in July 23, he answered an ad, we're looking for IT people, and he answered that ad. And, well, I shouldn't say this, but in the meantime, On January the 20th, 2024, I had a stroke.
Right.
And I was president as well, but now with my stroke, I couldn't keep up to this. So we're going to train Luke to do my role, my job. But in their fairness, Luke he wasn't a farmer. I was a farmer.
Yeah.
So he had to learn a few things. And sometimes, and this is where the saying comes in, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. So anyway, I'm explaining Luke how this business works. He says, so wait a minute, tell me. So you tell me that farmers, as they harvest their crop, they load their bins, they take average samples that they load their bins. I said, yeah, if they aren't, they should be. He said, oh, okay. So then they take that same sample and they go to a buyer and pay me. Pretty much that's what it is.
Yeah.
And he says, well, that's like taking stuff to a pawn shop. Oh my God. You can't see the forest for the trees. It took somebody outside the grain trade.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. They're taking stuff to a buyer.
What will you pay me for
You're
this?
taking. It's like they go to a pawn shop. They don't get the third party analysis done. So
Right.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get the third party analysis
Yeah,
done.
that's just necessary.
It
Yeah,
has to
not
be.
necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a friend of mine, buddy. I would describe him as first generation farmer.
Mm-hmm.
He might not agree with that, but he speaks a different language than those of us that came from a farm.
Right?
And he looks at things in a practical manner. And we do this, right? How do you sell canola?
Yeah.
Well, you sell it in metric tons, right?
Yeah.
Then you do this mental gymnastics with math there, and you convert it back to bushels.
Yeah.
The best, I used to use the example of wheat, for example. You do this, you sell, what'd you get per bushel? Well, I got this. How many bushels per acre? Got this. Then you convert it, you sell it in tons. And then for that bushel, wheat could be 56 pounds, or it could be, back in the day, maybe 66 now, right? Whatever the numbers are, 63. That's quite a difference. You get a 5 or 10% difference on weight.
The difference is, though, Trent, is that when you're selling in dollars per metric ton, you're selling weight. You're not selling volume. You're selling weight. That's the difference.
I know, but why do we do this? We do this conversion. We sell on weight and
I know.
and budget and volume.
It's
But my buddy doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He's talking weight,
yeah. That's what it is.
hectares or whatever.
We used to first before they went to metric, we got 350 bushels on the truck.
Yeah.
But then they say, well, now it's in tons. Yeah.
Well, I got thinking about this when I was hauling grain back in the day. I'd hear some guys tell me, well, that West Steel bin, they'll hold, the 3,200 bushel bin will hold 3,300 bushels of canaries or something.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It's weight, not volume.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I had a farm advisor come and talk to me one day. This is probably 25 years ago, but he thought I might have some value for me, and we got into. He couldn't wrap his head around that volume, weight. So the conversation ended there, right? Like he wasn't helping me any, but
Yeah.
Anyways, that was, I don't know. It's my little tangent, but. Well, this has been fun. There's a lot more we haven't talked about, but I like to try to keep these to an hour,
Yes.
and maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Love to.
Yeah, this is fun. Great.
Thanks, Trent.
This is great. Thanks, Merv.